Hello everybody, welcome to Red Tool House. Tonight, this evening, we are going to finish up our new boar pasture and get them moved. That's the plan before dark, see if they'll move over. And I'm hoping this will be the easiest pig moving that we've ever done in the history of Red Tool House. But first I got to fill in some gaps, got to put in my couple gates and my creek crossing. So we're going to do that real quick and come join us. So you guys, if you've watched the videos here in the last couple days, with this boar pasture, been using metal conduit and PVC conduit. We used 1 1/4 inch PVC throughout the pasture. I've got this one little area that's going to be temporary. I want to take this down quite a bit because we're still working on putting some water catchment here, a roof, being able to put nipple waters in for the pigs, for the boars, but I want to be able to pull those down. So I had some 3/4 inch, where's this half inch? This is half inch PVC conduit. So we're going to see if we can use it in the same manner that we used it elsewhere, but see if it's strong enough to drive in the ground. Fortunately, this is all Phil. You remember Phil, don't you, Kill? Trying to hammer spaghetti in the ground. So on this back corner of the paddock, we know the fence comes down to the Trotter bridge. I've got fence underneath the Trotter bridge, and of course the paddock walls here, or the corral walls, keep the pigs from escaping. So this will be the beginning of my corner. And quite a few people, I thought I documented this quite a bit, but obviously new people to the channel, quite a few people had commented about these black insulators I'm using. They're just a Dare insulator, but it's made with 2 holes that I can screw into the post or the tree or anything wooden or anything metal if I use self-tappers. And of course it has a built-in pin that drops down in it. I'll put a link below in the description so you guys can check those out. But we're going to start here. So that'll be our starting point. All right, so I've got one spot. Here's my wire right here. I've got one spot where going to my next run, you can see the fence is completely on the ground because there's a hump here it has to overcome. And so I'm going to put another PVC post in here and drill a hole in. But you guys commented on my video from Sunday, and this is why I love YouTube, the input that you guys give. It gave me a really good, I was talking about how drilling a hole in the PVC pipe really helped as far as keeping the wire up, but I could never pull that wire down very easily. And you guys had a great suggestion that actually 4 or 5 people commented on it. I'm like, duh, that's a no-brainer. So come closer, let me show you what we're doing. So this is the part of the pole post I'm going to drive in the ground. And I know roughly I want my hole to be about right here. So I just measured it on the ground. So of course that wire's already in place, so I can't run a wire through it. But what you guys, in your genius suggested is to take a small piece of wire and basically make a clip like you would use on a T-post to hold fence on. So I'm going to take this scraggly piece of 17 gauge that we have. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to run it through the hole. Actually, we're going to drive it in the ground first. Let's go drive it in the ground. Not driving it in the ground there. So all I'm going to do is, of course, is just run the small gauge wire through, pick this guy up, and just give it a couple twists. What? Isn't that pretty fancy? So thank you. I would list all the names off, but over the course of several days, several people came up with that. So I appreciate all the input. That's awesome. That's what I should have done with the rest of them. So this spot where the boars are, obviously, is the existing pasture they were on. You can see the fact that they're eating the grass that I just knocked down to the string trimmer. They're a little overdue to be moved. There's still some little saplings and things like that they haven't grubbed out yet, but for the sake of keeping them happy, we're going to get them moved. So this is the line that separates old pasture from new. This is the line that's obviously going further up the mountain. And again, if you've been with the channel, you know that this line I put all the way in back to the turn where we were last recording, but no access here. It was one of those deals where I was putting this backbone in, so I wanted to go all the way down to where I could get it really tight, even though I wasn't using it. So that's why I had to run the weed eater, a lot of grass growing over top of it. But it's kind of interesting. You can see when you've got a good charge on your Energizer, then you've got that dead grass. So it was doing a good job killing the grass that came in contact with it, but we eat a lot of that out so we don't have to mess with that. Kelly's riding down to turn the fence on because we got everything hooked up. I'm gonna run down here and put an a step-in post in, or one small or low spot before she energizes it. Excuse me, Sarah. I hear it hitting. She must have plugged it in. Whew. Yeah, gracious. Look at that. I mean, that's not hitting hard. So there, where you see that white step-in post is our connection. So everything in front of the step-in post coming back toward the camera is fence I've had in place for a couple months. Everything beyond is new. So let's consult the map here. Again, I know I get a lot of compliments on the map, so I like using the map. It's kind of fun to play around with. So let's consult the map, and you can see where we have what I call the new boar pasture was the smallest paddock. That's where they are right now. And now you can see with this expansion, what would be the west boar paddock, until I can come up with better names, you can see it's probably maybe as much as 4 times larger than the existing paddock. They're going to have a lot of neat places to hang out, a lot of shade, a lot of mast, areas they can lay low in the deep little canyon of the watershed where there's stone exposed and really get cooled off. And that'll allow, of course, the first boar pasture to heal up. You know, this is where a fancy Energizer that has the remote shutoff would come in handy, because it's a good it's a good clip back to the Energizer to unplug it. So that's why I keep the step-in post, so I can move things without getting the crap knocked out of me. Here comes my lovely bride now. Hello, babe. Turn it off right there. Please. Yeah, there was a weed laying against that pole right there beside you. It was hitting so hard I could hear it all the way back up where I was standing. All right, so let's get a reading. We know this isn't, the new pasture isn't a continuous loop, which I'll probably rectify at some point. I don't like having only one source of power coming in. But this allows us to this will allow us to get a good test here. So we'll test here, which will be the front end of our new pasture. .89 kilovolts. That's cooking bacon right there. That's what we want. So that's a good one. But let's go all the way back down to the boar pasture, or to the boar paddock, and we'll see what we're getting on the very end of this run. Okay, so back down here at the very end of the line, let's see what we've got. See if we've got any ground outs anywhere. All right, 10.2. I'll take that any day. So Kelly and I actually found, we heard it snapping when we came down the hill. So we fixed that. So that's why we actually picked up half a kilovolt. So 10.2 all the way at the end of the line. My goodness, from where the Energizer is, if I had to guess, that's got to be a quarter mile, maybe even a little more. Peek, 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 peek. Okay, so all three of our lovely boars are in the corral. So let's see if this is the easiest pig move in the history of Red Tool House, or have I just jinxed it? I don't believe in jinxes. I believe in dumb mistakes. Okay, so swing the gate this way. Attach a new wire. Peek. You peek, 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 peek. Come on, piggy. Not too sure, are you? There you go. Just takes 1 liter. Now I'm gonna go eat my chainsaw. Like that. How about you, Red? I hate the sucker. I have a hard time getting through all those treetops. I have to hit the hill.
What do you think of that water? We get all slippy.
There's all kinds of or hickory nuts laying around here. There's 2 of them right here. There's 3 of them. 4 of them.
There's one right behind you. Give it to him.
Oh, there's Creeping Charlie. I love Creeping Charlie. Look at Red eating the Creeping Charlie. Going after it. Oh yeah. Big old bunch of it, isn't it? Love that stuff. Tasty. Maybe they can help excavate the mattress out of the creek for us too. More Creeping Charlie. To try to get through all that treetop. Okay, next day, mid-afternoon, just fed the boars. They're kicking it in there, getting their food. You can see they've come through and they've made light work of most of the creeping Charlie right here. There's some that gets a little closer to the fence that they don't want to mess with. But they've already been checking it out, doing some exploring. We'll ride the loop here just to make sure. Got access to good clean water coming down the valley. Tons of shade up on the hill. And of course still access to their corral. So I'm up here at the top portion where we put the gate in. I'm just curious to see if the boars had made it up here. And something through the weeds here, but that could have been a deer. I don't see any rooting. When they find all this mast up here, they're going to be in hog heaven. There they are down there eating. You know, it's amazing. I won't talk about this too much, but you can see this poplar stump right here that I took out. Took out a poplar. And that was just one tree that I've cut down. And you can see how much canopy that opened up. We've got annual grasses coming in. Some of these broadleaf grasses that were not growing in the woods before. Then when I open it up, they really start to come on. So just by releasing some of this canopy, coming in and getting out, like come in and get some of these small beech out, and this grasses should really start to come in. And you probably can't hear it on this mic, but the wind's blowing a little bit and just the hickory nuts are falling like crazy. Almost sounds like it's raining. Aha, sign that they have been here. A small root and a small pile of poo. So they've been lighting it up already. I'm sure they're just excited to explore everything. Okay, so it looked like that move was a success, so we're going to put that in the win column and hopefully they'll stay put. But I'll just keep documenting how much they utilize this pasture area, and I'm making notes of this just to see how quickly they eat it down. Again, I'll be coming in and releasing some trees. There's still some trees I want to take out and mill, like you can see. Spin around here quick. There's a poplar here. There's some smaller oaks that we'll clear out and try to keep from making you guys sick. Over on this side, a little poplar here, but further back there's quite a few poplar that we can mill, and so that's another reason for putting this gate in right there, is I can drop these trees and of course drag them right out that way. Appreciate everybody watching. We're still doing our drawing for our i5T flashlight, so be sure to be on our email newsletter list to get that, and we'll be drawing that probably in the next week or so, and we'll announce the winner on an upcoming video. All right, take care everybody.